We'll be joining Dr. Engineer Wisdom Enang right now, all the way from Lagos, who will be helping us to understand how the Nigerian government in the oil and gas sector, particularly in the oil and gas sector, we can sustain the oil and gas sector investors' confidence. In the last 6 months, there have been a lot of increased performances in the gas sector. I mean the gas sector, not the crude, the gas sector in Nigeria. Dr. Enang, a very good day to you, sir. Hello, Dr. Enang. Can you unmute your mic? A very good day to you, sir.
Good day, sir.
All right, welcome to the show once again.
I can hear you.
All right, I said welcome to the show once again.
Thank you very much.
All right, now here we are. A lot of development have occurred within the
Thank you very much.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm trying to hear you, but the audio is a bit low.
Okay.
Give me a moment. Give me 1 minute. I'll...
All right, from Dr. Enang angle, let's quickly do one or two things in regards to our technicality. But for Nigerian oil and gas sector, a lot has happened. And one of the biggest gains under the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is that a lot of announcements in regards to the oil and gas sector report. The gas, for instance, accounted for about 3 out of Nigerian gas sector accounted for about 3 out of the final investment decision FIDs by global oil company, totaling about 13.5 billion as announced by global oil and gas majors across the world in the late 2024. The final investment decision FIDs announced within the Nigerian market include Shell 122 million investment in the Esseni gas project. Total Energy also invested about 566 million US dollar committed to the Better gas project. Meanwhile, for Shell approval on the Bonga North Tranche 1 project, it estimated about 55 billion US dollar to be invested in that regard. All these are the aspects of the Nigerian gas sector that has become so enormous, so lucrative, that global gas energy experts are now talking about Nigerian gas sector. But for us to sustain the momentum, the confidence in our gas sector, we need to begin to advocate, enlighten, and also provide solutions to some of the challenges within that sector. So joining me right now is Dr. Wisdom Enang. Doctor, a good day to you. All right, we're still having some connection issue with that, but as I earlier pointed out, the Nigerian gas sector is now very, very lucrative. There are many experts and industry players. All right, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's get straight to the issue. The Nigerian gas sector. What has been your assessment so far of the Nigerian gas sector? With the laudable investors trooping into the Nigerian gas sector, not the oil sector right now, but the gas sector. What has been your assessment, sir?
I mean, it's a very, I think, a very good step in the right direction compared to where we have been before now. Before now, I think the Nigerian gas sector was maybe looked at mainly for export-oriented, initiatives. And before now, we were looking at oil as a mainstay. But I think the president has done a number of very clever for the country. The first thing that I think the president has done very intelligently is to look at improving the fiscal terms through the presidential directive on oil and gas reforms. He has put in very good terms to improve the fiscal competitiveness, because you need to understand that the gas that we currently produce and even export right now are what we call associated gas, which is basically gas that is obtained from the prospecting of oil and production of oil. But where we want to be is where we have the right fiscal terms to be able to attract investors, ultimately to be able to come in and develop very strategic and gas reserves and projects. That's exactly where we want to be. When it comes to making gas widely available for the industrialization of the nation's economy, a couple of things needs to be addressed. The issue of affordability is very clearly addressed, but we need to address the issue of accessibility and availability. I think those are two key issues that we must address as a nation very critically. The country at the moment boasts of a lot of potentials of gas reserves, and look at the underlying word, potential reserves. It means that it's in the ground. It means that it's worth a lot of money, but it means that we have not operationalized that avenue of wealth creation as much. Yes, there are investments that have come in. There are also efforts in the direction of the Nigerian gas field commercialization program, which was started by the previous administration. With there's also efforts in the direction of them. So there are a number of efforts, a number of investments that have come in. But those investments, yes, they are of higher magnitude than they were before, but they're not in anywhere the sort of amounts that we should be pulling in compared to the resources that we have available, the gas resources. So those are areas of improvement. Again, the issue about gas starts with bankability of the investment itself. The issue about gas also has to do with accessibility of funding, especially for domestic projects. So who's going to fund it? If the international funding people are not coming in with all the funds that are required to produce a domestically consumed gas project, who's going to fund it? Do we have the banks here, are they robust enough to fund such large projects? I mean, those are some of the critical questions that we have. And if we look at the legacy sectors that have benefited from gas, say for example the power sector, the question is, how do we improve the competitiveness of those sectors? Because the issue is the legacy debt that has always been in that power sector, which has made businesses and people that are thinking about power not want to come to Nigeria, because they're thinking, how do I recover my money? Away from the cost recovery tariffs, the issue of are customers willing to pay for the power? And is the power, yes, you have provided power, but is it reliable enough? When I talk about reliability, I'm talking about, can the customer be sure that, okay, this power is going to be given for 20 hours uninterrupted for people that are in band A? And are they going to be assured that it's going to come at the right voltage that is required for their business of power generation, power distribution? So there are a number of things that affect gas in the way that I think we need to be thinking about it. But for us to industrialize the economy, I'm talking about the enablers, I'm talking about the success factors. I see a situation where we need to have a very good synergy between the federal government initiatives and thoughts about gas industrialization and operationalization at the level of the states, at the subnational levels. And the reason I'm saying this, I'm going to mention two key examples. When it comes to the issue of consumption of gas, if there's no availability of the resource and accessibility of the resource at the state level, then why would anyone want to convert whatever automotive engine they are using, whether it be generator or vehicles, to gas? That's the first thing that we need to talk about. And so the state government must come to the fore to also help to deepen that consumption within their state space.
Exactly.
The other issue that I think we ought to be thinking about is the issue of standardization of technology. I mean, the oil technology is very easy. It's domiciled within the refineries, is domiciled within the oil majors, and so those ones have a very key requirement on how they need to enhance safety if they must keep their licenses. But when you now talk about things like gas, where you and I can just retrofit systems in our housing, that's a completely different case. You need to start domesticating technology. In fact, you need to, at the first instance, to overcome that initial resistance, you need to clarify the safety concern, because people are saying, we hear about gas, accidents. They don't know, is it an explosion? Is it based on the fire outbreak because of this, or products that have been certified for gas technology as being safe? So those are areas of concern. The other area is this: if you want to do a gas ecosystem, the best way is to consolidate that resource and do it within an area. So, for example, a gas industrial park. That's one of the best ways to succeed. And I'm going to explain this. Imagine if you have a gas industrial park in a state, and that gas industrial park is situated in an area where, within that industrial park, you're going to have some sort of synergy and, harnessing of codependency within the companies there. So someone is taking off that gas. The person is using it for power generation, is selling power to the rest of the folks who want to be there because they have a reliable supply of electricity power in that area for manufacturing. Someone is also taking that and producing urea. Another person is taking that urea and bagging them, putting it in a warehouse, and then going on to sell that urea. Another person is also coming to that area because they're going to buy some feedstock for manufacturing other products and other chemical-based products that they require. And then they're all going to open a warehouse. Someone is going to have to open a school for those guys' children to go to. Someone is going to have to open a hospital to take care of those guys. So you can see that just by creating a gas industrial park, you have done the primary linkage, tertiary, secondary and tertiary linkage to the petroleum industry, and other industries are going to be able to come out of there. The other thing is this: because you have put a centralized production zone powered by gas, it means you too can create the right road network. You can create the right internet network that helps to serve those people properly. In fact, you can create another ecosystem altogether that will be served, by public facilities. And that's about another company in this region, another company. So I think there are very clever ways we can consolidate. And the reason I've highlighted this is because before we can achieve maximization of our gas potential, we need to also work with the subnationals on a planning and execution basis to make the most out of our gas potentials.
Doc, I really want to appreciate you. Time is not our friend on this part of the day, but I can assure you this is a developing story, because the kind of huge amount of investment that is coming to Nigerian gas sector is very tempting. And you are very correct. The subnational need to tap into this gap, gas hub area that we are talking about, or gas hub park we are talking about, is quite significant for Nigerian economy. We need to appreciate you for coming on the show today. But I can assure you this is a developing story with over $13.5 billion coming to Africa, and out of it, 4 of those, 75% of that amount is coming to Nigerian gas sector. It means it's a huge, and we need to take advantage of it.
Thank you very much. I deeply appreciate it.
All right, now we'll see you soon.